We are.
Perez is over there working hard. He's punching a bunch of buttons, so you should be good.
I believe we are back. Limited time here, but I just want your takes on what you saw. And are we allocating some money from the legislative session for this?
Yeah, we Thursday morning, I got there about 9 o'clock to Rolling Fork. I grew up in Vicksburg and on Eagle Lake, so I'm very familiar with the town. I used to have a cigarette and candy. Used to drive a truck up there and deliver things to those little stores. So I was very familiar with the town and was just shocked. I mean, it's total devastation. I know you've heard enough of that. I went, first place I went was to the Rolling Fork, to their city hall, and like everywhere else, I noticed that there was an American flag that had been taken out of the city hall and put in a planter actually out in front. The roof was gone and everything else was gone. So a lady named Ebony, who's their city clerk, and I tied it up, and we busted literally our way into the city hall. Had to jam the door open. All the ceiling was blown out. All that asbestos that you see is 5 or 6 inches deep, and pink was all over everything. So we were able to pry the doors open to get into her old office, and we knew the rain was coming this night, which it did occur again, unfortunately. So we tried to get all of their books and records of the city hall into a vault that was still safe from water and whatnot. Found the minutes and stuff. Then the mayor came in a few minutes later, and we tried to break into his office. We couldn't do so. The beams had shoved the door too tight, and those 2x4s that you see lamp pictures were hanging off. Their wires in there. And I wasn't sure whether those were live or not. Probably dead, but in any event, we couldn't even get into his office, so we went around to the other side and basically got everything that we could get that would be functional, that they may need to continue, got it into the vault. Then went by Mima. Mima is very competent, Paul. Like the governor was saying yesterday, we've got way too much experience here.
Let me ask you this in the limited time we have, because I don't want to forget the people in Winona or Amory or the
Silver
other areas.
City.
Silver City is gone. It's just totally wiped out.
Right.
But from what was announced by Ms. Criswell, the administrator, and the White House as far as the federal disaster, that's going to cover, are all of these people going to also be there on the ground in Winona? And also in those other places, Amory?
Yes.
Are they going to be there also?
Yes. Well, AMEMA's on each one of those.
Every one of those, okay.
Actually, the one in Rolling Fork, I think Adams County and Warren County were the emergency management people that were running that particular one. They had the portable morgue there, at the Agriculture Center, and they pretty much were running everything. There are thousands of people there hauling trees off houses and all that other. The park, I went to the trailer park, but when I went to the MEMA headquarters, they were still in search and rescue, so I went to the places that they were to see if I could help. Yeah. In the trailer park, it's just nothing but rubble. I've seen, it's a Katrina event. It looks just like Katrina did, the worst one we've ever had.
It's certainly the trees. I mean, it's like a Vegematic took it over. So.
Yeah, and those trailers are just really about 4 or 5 foot tall piles of rubble. How anyone lived there, Paul, it's just a miracle. Anybody that did, it's an absolute miracle. I think we have 25 deceased now, and about 20, I think, are in the UMC in various stages, some in intensive care. But it's just a miracle, and the town is just pretty much destroyed.
For people who are asking, with the federal assistance, you got to be, and that's why it's so important to get this. If you need help getting it filled out, do not hesitate. Go do it. Make sure it's done. Grants for temporary housing, home repairs, and most of those homes cannot be repaired. There's nothing to repair.
No, sir.
Low-cost loans to cover uninsured property losses, as well as other programs aimed to help you if you've been hurt or damaged by this. Business owners. There's a lot of things in there for business owners, so you've got to get that taken care of.
Yeah, we went through that, and Paul, that's really like day 4 or 5. Quite frankly, there's this initial shock and survival mode that you go into, I think. Yeah. And those people were in that shock survival mode, and but now, when they realize there's no house, there's no trailer, there's no anywhere to go. it starts to dawn on them, and they really need somebody just to put their hand around their back and say, we're going to make it. There are a number of things that are happening, Paul, just in this unison. I've talked to MEMA. We do have emergency mobile homes that we had a contractor start, I think, under Governor Bryant, actually. They're looking at ways to house people. The school is destroyed there. South Delta is destroyed. The legislature, we met last night with our House counterparts in the Senate. We'll probably put about $2 million towards schools and towards covering their deductible. Each of those will have deductible expenses, and then some money to get started back up. Our other superintendents.
Where are those kids going to go to school?
That's what I was going to tell you. Other superintendents are opening up their application where you usually have to live in the area, but I heard like DeSoto County and these others are now opening up their schools so you can go there. If you had a family member that lived in somewhere, Vicksburg, DeSoto, or somewhere, you'd be able to get your kids to school. That's a real important part, not to lose this year, Paul, because they're towards the end of the year finishing their stuff, and they got to take their exams here in about another month. So that's real important, and the school systems are all working towards that. We met with the governor yesterday, and we came up with a number for MEMA to get started, which is $6 million. That'll allow them to get started, and then they apply for federal reimbursement, some of which we get. Quite frankly, sometimes we don't get it. We don't get reimbursed.
Yeah.
But that will start all of them. I expect those to come today from the legislature, from today or tomorrow, sometime during our appropriation process.
Governor, you have any idea how many students were displaced?
There are several hundred. I did not get the same number. The mid-school, I think, was saved. The high school was completely destroyed. So there are some students that could go to school, but I think what we're talking about doing is moving their computers and whatever we can salvage into a storage in the middle school, and then having everybody have to go to another school. And it's about 40 miles to Vicksburg, about the same, a little more to Greenville. So this is going to be very difficult. And without any place to stay, Paul, those people are really going to have to leave a lot of their jobs.
Yeah.
Like the Family Dollar, I was there with them. We have a great team there that takes on these buildings like that, and they were peeling it off one layer at a time. They had pulled 3 deceased out of the building, and there was a rumor that there was one in the back corner, and so they were going, it's pancaked, literally, and so we were going, level by level, cutting the beams out. These guys are awesome. I've been working about 12, 14 hours.
Then you look at places like in Amory, which has been a fixture a long, long time. The Piggly Wiggly was damaged, but it is coming back.
Silver City and those. Amory has some significant damage. Their high school is similar. I've gotten reports from all the high schools, and we'll fund getting them back on their feet, and the people as well.
One legislative question, only a few seconds left. Did we agree on a budget, House and Senate, or is that still to be up for grabs?
Well, when I left about 10 o'clock last night, they were closer. We're not there yet, but we were closer. How about that?
Look forward to getting you on with a wrap-up of the legislative session when it's complete.
We'll finish up this week. So a lot of work going on by House and the Senate members down there.
Call us if you need us, sir.
Thank you, Paul. Y'all pray for these people.